Polio in US, UK, and Israel reveal risk of oral vaccine. Aussies more fearful of China than Taiwanese. Car blast kills daughter of Russian known as Putin's brain. Putin's inner circle fear coup after war guru's daughter killed. The Freedom of Russia Legion fighting with Ukrainian army. Vietnam and Singapore carefully adapt to LGBTQ rights. Streaming is more watched than cable and broadcast. US governor visits Taiwan and Tsai highlights democracy chips.
Hello, I'm Wade Lee. Thank you for joining us on FUNDAY News. It is Tuesday, August 23rd, and here are your top stories. The media reported that authorities in Jerusalem, New York, and London have discovered evidence that polio is spreading in these regions. Surprisingly, the original source of the virus is the oral vaccine itself. According to the World Health Organization and its partners, since 2017, there has been 396 cases of polio caused by the wild virus versus more than 2,600 linked to the oral vaccine. Genetic analysts showed that they were mutated versions of a virus that originated in the oral vaccine.
The media said that the oral vaccine at issue has been used since 1988 because it is cheap and easy to administer. It contains a weakened form of the live virus. In extremely rare cases, the weakened virus can also sometimes mutate into a more dangerous form and spark outbreaks. Last year, the WHO and partners began using a newer oral polio vaccine, which contains a live but weakened virus that scientists believe is likely to mutate into a dangerous form. But supplies of this new vaccine are limited.
New research by the Australian Institute found that a quarter of Australian respondents believe China will attack Taiwan soon, while only 5% of Taiwanese think so. And this year, 38% of Australians think China will launch an armed attack on Australia at some point, compared to 36% last year. The director of the Australian Institute's International and Security Affairs program, Alan Bam, believes that's reflecting the megaphone diplomacy of the previous government.
I think the drills are necessary. We should be prepared beforehand.
The results were obtained via two surveys commissioned by the Australia Institute between August 13th and 16th this year, just over a week after U.S. Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi visited Taiwan. Participants of the study included 1,003 adult Australians and 1,002 adult Taiwanese. Apart from the difference of the two nations in fear of China, 85% of Australians regard China as aggressive, compared to 80% of Taiwanese, giving their neighbors the same term.
The daughter of the influential Russian ultra-nationalist philosopher Daria Dugan was killed by a car bomb on the outskirts of Moscow last Saturday. According to family members quoted by Russian media, Dugan was the likely target of the blast as his daughter unexpectedly borrowed his car at the last minute. Dugan is a prominent proponent of the Russian world concept. He's also a vehement supporter of Russian President Putin's move to send troops into Ukraine. Ukraine denied that Kyiv's authorities were behind the bombing.
Daria Dugan, sometimes called Putin's Rasputin or Putin's brain, is an outspoken Russian ultranationalist intellectual. He was put on a Western sanctions list after Russia annexed Crimea in 2014, a move he also backed. His daughter, Daria Dugan, was sanctioned by the United States in March for her work as chief editor of United World International, a website that the U.S. described as a disinformation source. The Russian Investigative Committee said, based on the evidence already collected from the blast, it is believed someone planned and ordered the car explosion that killed Daria Dugan.
Putin's inner circle is on high alert after the daughter of the mastermind behind his invasion of Ukraine was killed in a car bombing. Analysts said that ambush was designed to intimidate Putin's loyalists, and it sparks fear amongst Russia's top general that they could be the next target. The media reported that suspicions has now fallen on Putin's own loyal henchmen. It is believed elements within Putin's FSB spy agency might have orchestrated the attack on Dugan's vehicle.
Well, this might be a bluff. everything, believe it or not, might be a bluff.
Russian historian Dr. Yuri Felshinsky said the car bomb was most likely a part of an internal Russian conflict and ordered by those with an interest in eliminating Dugan. He told the Daily Beast that the blowing up of the car of the famous Russian fascist and ideologist was most likely carried out by Russian security services. In addition, a former member of the Dula parliament claimed the explosion was the work of the National Republican Army, who he claims are planning Putin's downfall.
According to a report published in the Moscow Times, amongst many units of the International Legion for the Defense of Ukraine, the Freedom of Russian Legion was formed mainly by Russian ex-soldiers and Russians who have traveled to Ukraine. They fought with the Ukrainian army in the months after the invasion. However, unlike other national units, the Freedom of Russian Legion is shrouded in secrecy. In a manifesto, the Legion pledged to fight for a free and democratic Russia and seeks to get rid of Putin's dictatorial regime.
I used to be a serviceman in the Russian military, and like many other people I have been sent to Ukraine for committing so-called special military operation as our command.
The Moscow Times said that soldiers in the unit use the white-blue-white flag that has become a popular symbol of Russia's anti-war movement. The unit is active on social media, and its accounts together have more than 94,000 subscribers. In a June video, the group claimed it had supporters across Russia. It is said there are about 300 requests to join the unit every day. The most high-profile member of the group is Igor Yabulev, a former executive at state-owned Russian bank, Gazprom Bank.
On August 8, Vietnam's Ministry of Health announced on its government's online information portal that it created 5 new primary guidelines for Vietnam's healthcare system based on the World Health Organization's removal of homosexuality and being transgender from the International Classification of Diseases. Vietnam stated that education should be strengthened so all medical providers have correct knowledge about lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender people.
But that is not the only sensitive issue we need to resolve. Another concerns the treatment of gay people in our society under the law.
Singapore's Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong has announced that his country will decriminalize sex between men, but will continue to uphold the legal definition of marriage as being between a man and a woman. In his annual day rally speech, Lee said on Sunday that he believed repealing Section 377A of the Penal Code, a colonial-era law that criminalizes sex between men, is the right thing to do, as most Singaporeans are becoming more accepting of gay people.
According to a Nielsen report, Americans are watching more streaming TV than cable for the first time ever. In July, streaming amounted to 34.8% in the share of total TV consumption, a growth of nearly 23% within the past year. Cable and broadcast viewership both dropped year over year, with the former amounting to 34.4% and the latter making up just 21.6%. Both fell around 10% compared to July 2021. Nielsen notes streaming has surpassed broadcasting before, but it's the first time it has also exceeded cable viewing.
Numbers show Netflix, Hulu, and Prime Video are taking over. For the first time ever, Americans spent more time watching streaming services.
The report said the milestone has been long expected as viewers change their viewing habits and ditch their pricey cable bundles for cheaper alternatives. Netflix, Hulu, and YouTube also captured record-high shares, with Netflix being the biggest streaming platform thanks to Stranger Things' new season. But the war to win over streaming subscribers at any cost is over. Disney is hiking prices. Netflix recently jacked up prices and is cracking down on password sharing.
The governor of the U.S. state of Indiana has met with Taiwan's President Tsai after a series of high-profile visits by American politicians. Eric Holcomb met President Tsai on Monday, August 22nd, after arriving in Taiwan for a 4-day visit. The Republican governor said the visit is aimed at bolstering economic exchanges, particularly in the key semiconductor industry. Holcomb, who is traveling with officials from the state's Economic Development Council, is set to meet representatives of Taiwan's semiconductor industry as well.
This is the third by an American politician in less than a month after U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's stopover infuriated China.
During a meeting at her office in Taipei, President Tsai said the United States and Taiwan must stand together as democratic allies after the country had been confronted by military threats from China. Tsai told Holcomb, Taiwan is willing and able to strengthen cooperation with its democratic partners in building sustainable supply chains for democracy chips. Tsai said, I look forward to our supporting one another and advancing hand in hand, forging closer relations, and creating even deeper cooperation.
And that is all the time we have for today. Thank you for joining us on FUNDAY News. Let's make every day a fun day. I am Wade Lee, your host, and I'll see you next time.